Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Love when we get together with her because she provides so many answers about the other side when people have passed on, messages from beyond. We're going to talk about essentially forgiveness today and how that looks with, let's say, a loved one that is no longer with us. Lots we're going to talk about. By the way, if you ever want to reach out to us, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. She is Shannon Dee. Shannon Dee Sees Things, and she does for us and gives us answers, and she's back. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a good week of reading and a lot of answers for folks this week.
Yeah, so when we talk about forgiveness, there's a lot of times when somebody passes and you say, I should have said something. I should have spoken. I should have reconnected with them. I should have told them I love them. All of that. Do they know? Are we, and it's always been said, don't should on yourself. You don't need to in many regards. All of those things that we wonder, worry about after somebody's no longer here. Should we worry about it? Do they know?
No, they always know. Especially, I don't think that they mind read. I don't think that they can read our minds, just like a lot of people always think that I can read people's minds. They get very funny about being around me. I can't read your minds. They can't read your minds. But a lot of times they know you just as well as they did in life. And a lot of times you talk to other people. So they are around when you're talking about that, saying, I wish that I had told my dad that I loved him. And I wish that we hadn't had that last fight. I wish that that hadn't been our last conversation. And they know that. They hear you when you say that. And that isn't what's important. What was important was the breadth of the love that you had shared through the years. So whether or not you ever said it to each other, did you have that loving relationship? And if you had had rocky relationship the last years or so, it didn't matter because they know by what you're saying to other people about how sorry you are now that you hadn't fixed that relationship. They're hearing you now and they're just as sorry. And I've had that come through again and again in relationships when I'm reading people, that they hear you and that they're just as sorry as you are that the relationship was broken and everything is forgiven.
I can honestly tell you that I don't worry about any of that stuff.
No, we shouldn't worry about it.
But here's why. Because I came to the realization, and maybe it's from talking to you and others that do what you do, that it's known because the energy is around us. It's felt. You feel the presence of those who have passed. They feel you. We don't need to do that.
Absolutely.
Let,
Absolutely.
let the guilt go, whatever it may be. And I've tons of them. I should have done this to that relative. I should have said this to that. And it bothered me for a while. But then I had, I don't know, maybe epiphany that I don't think about it.
Exactly.
I don't think I need to think about it because it's already known in many regards.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. They
Wow.
know. They know. They feel it. And you should focus on feeling their love and looking for things that they're sending you, those signs that they love you, instead of dwelling on the things that you should have, would have, could have
I can't believe
instead.
you just said that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I got an email that we were going to get to. And
Okay.
it's all it. Wow. This is from Kaylee in Ocala, Florida, instant feedback Steve@gmail.com. She says, my father passed away 4 years ago, and I wonder if he's trying to contact me by sending signs. How can I tell him how much I miss him?
Oh, Kaylee, all you have to do is just when you're alone, especially at night, just talk quietly. Like a lot of times I'll be in the bathroom, because that's a quiet space. People don't tend to invade your space when you're in the bathroom alone. And I just talk quietly to my grandparents, to my dad, a lot of times when I'm putting on my makeup in the morning, and I'll just be like, hey, you can just, Dad, I'm looking for signs for you. You can assign a sign. And if there's something that you share with your dad, um, like, whether it be stingrays or turtles, for some reason I keep seeing dolphins with you. Whether you used to watch dolphins with your father, for some reason I keep seeing 3 dolphins jumping out of the water. I think that that's one of the signs. So it doesn't have to be that you're sitting in the water, sitting at water's edge, watching dolphins, and that's the only way. You can see a dolphin keychain. You can see dolphins on TV. You can see a bumper sticker that someone has of a dolphin. But I have a feeling that that's the way he's connecting with you. But you can also give him a sign and say, Dad, I remember when we used to make, um, turtle brownies with the caramel on them and the pecans. And so I want the sign to be, turtles and turtle brownies. You can do that as well and assign him and say, I want to see you in my dreams. And every night before you go to sleep, say, I want to remember my dreams. And Dad, I want you to come to see me in my dreams. Don't get spun around the wheel about what he says in the dreams. And I've said this before, you're not usually going to remember what they say to you. It's just the fact that they come to you in the dreams. And when you first wake up, how does it make you feel? And it should make you feel good.
Hmm.
But I have a feeling he's sending you things that have to do with dolphins for some reason. When you were little on the beach, I think, with him.
Wow. All right. Kaylee, please let us know.
Yeah.
Kind of
I would
curious.
I would love to have her let us know. Come on our Facebook page and let me know.
Oh, good idea. Um, can we ask them for things?
Absolutely. They love to dazzle you. They love to do things for you. Now that they're on the other side, time has no meaning for them. So they're just sitting around waiting to do good things for you. So if there's something that you need or something that you're waiting for, like if Kaylee needs a new car, Dad, can you help me get a
Hmm.
new car? Of course he wants to help you. Of course he wants to help bring that special person into your life or help get that new job for you. So just ask them. If it's a yes or no question, Dad, should I move into that new apartment that's closer to where my work is? If you see your sign, then the answer is yes. If you don't see your sign, and you have to keep asking them, don't ask them just once, but ask them a couple times, and I usually will ask out loud, especially when I'm in my car. I'll be like, hey, where's my sign? Am I supposed to move into this apartment? Then yes, because again, I don't trust that they can just read our minds. So I'll ask out loud.
Hmm. Wow. Don't feel guilty asking. That's what I'm getting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Never feel guilty. They want to do as much for you now. And I hear it over and over. They want to do more for you now. And they always say, it's my time that I passed away, and I can do more for you from the other side than I ever could for you in life. I hear that over and over, same messages.
I believe it. And I've experienced it. So I'll leave it at
Mhm.
that. Um, the forgiveness thing. We started talking about that. I know you had a lot of readings this week with people where that came up. Tell us about that and all of the things that we ask for forgiveness or we want them to know that we forgive them. All of that.
I had a lot this week where there was hurt feelings. Um, there was a lot about uh, parents who did not know what their adult child sexuality was. So there was a lot of guilt because the
Hmm.
child flat out asked me, did my parents know about my lifestyle? Did they know what my sexuality was? And are they okay with it? The answer was always a resounding, absolutely, they know. They're very comfortable with it. Even And in one case, the answer was, even though they were very Catholic in life, it didn't matter to them. Once they get to the other side, it is as if they had some kind of renaissance of understanding and a love that is so beyond infinity. And I actually got that infinity with the family that had names in it as one of the signs that one of the family members had. And the parent brought that to my mind as a symbol to show the person that I was reading, that's how big that their love was for them. It goes beyond infinity, and it doesn't matter what your lifestyle was. And I wish that you hadn't hidden it from me while I was alive. And I understand now why you would have hidden it from me, because you wouldn't have trusted that I would have understood. But I'm telling you now that I do understand. And I love you exactly the way that you were, because you're my child. And you don't need any forgiveness for anything, about how you live your life or the person that you've chosen as your life. And in the one case, the the parent was so happy that the son got a divorce because they didn't like his first spouse. And they even told me about who was coming for him. And boy, is he going to have a wonderful husband coming for him. I was
Wow.
able to see what he looks like. I only revealed so much because I don't like people to get so drilled down on who's coming. And in the other case, they love her wife so much. And if they could only feel the love and the pride that I feel in my heart when I'm reading. And so there was so much just love and forgiveness in those readings, just so many tears from all those readings that I had. It was wonderful, really wonderful.
Wow. You gotta love what you're doing.
I do.
Because you get to feel that, that joy. Of course, sometimes there's challenging things that you feel. What about somebody who wants to know if their parents are proud of them?
Oh, Steve, I get that so often, that parents pass before their child has fully matured or has found their way in life. And I tell them, are you proud of yourself for what you've made? And I said, honestly. And they'll kind of sheepishly be like, yes. And I said, think of that tenfold, because that's how I'm feeling. And that's how your parent is feeling right now. They're so proud of you for how you've navigated all the difficulties that you've gone through without the benefit of having your mom or
Mm.
your dad, and in some cases, either one of them. And you've been raised by a grandparent, and you've turned out so well. And they're so proud of you. And they're proud of you for who you are and how far you've gotten and the choices you've made. And even if you've had tough breaks, you've still been a wonderful, upbeat, happy person that helps other people. And to be able to deliver those messages, I feel like I've become a better person in the time that I've been reading, because I've learned so much more about the world. I really do.
Hmm. Um, and also, I think we all take away from this the realization that life is short.
Oh, it's so short. 40 years seems like nothing,
Agreed.
you know? You look ahead and I'm like, my gosh, half my life is already over. I'm on the short end of the stick already, and I've got so much work to do. I have so many people that need messages, that there's such a line of people that need to be read and desperately need to hear from the other side, whether it be something that's lost, photo memories, which is one of my favorite things, finding lost items, photo memories, because those are such precious items
Mm.
for people and they mean so much. You know, people are much more sentimental than I think that they like to let on.
When you get that feeling of pride coming from a parent or a loved one, what do you feel? You know, I've heard some psychics say, "Oh, I have a buttons bursting out of a chest." You know, there's different ways. Do you deal in that kind of thing, like symbols that you see, or it's something very different?
It's the buttons bursting out of your chest. I feel like if you could put, um, do you know when firefighters have that big yellow massive inflatable cushion so that if somebody has to jump out of a building,
Sure.
that's the way it feels. It feels like there's a massive cushion in my chest. And if it was inflated anymore, I feel like my chest is going to burst. And
Wow.
it feels that way with pride and with love. When it's love, it feels very warm and I'll get goosebumps at times. When it's pride, it feels like my chest is raised up. When it's love, it feels more towards the person. Um, and it's such an incredible feeling. In fact, when we were mentioning Kaylee, I felt that love coming out towards her, and even mentioning her now, I have goosebumps down. So I feel that love coming from her father, that she must have been a daddy's girl, like definitely must have been a daddy's girl. That her dad loves her so much. And I keep hearing the word, she's so beautiful, she's so beautiful. And he must have told her that all the time.
I would love to
But
know about the dolphin connection.
I am dying to know the dolphin
Uh,
connection because as soon as I started to speak, I just kept seeing dolphins jumping through the water for some reason.
and it's random.
So,
It's not, I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but some people will say, when a butterfly goes by, I think of my mom. Okay,
mm-hmm,
if that supports you, wonderful. Maybe there is a connection. I don't know. I go on specifics.
mm-hmm.
I need to. I love you, Shannon, but I need specifics. That's me. And you've given them to me. Um,
Yeah,
but dolphins, that is kind of random.
I
It's
would
not like,
love to read Kaylee because I'd love to see what it's about.
see
So
if we can
hopefully
see.
she'll reach out to Shannon Dee Sees Things and
Yeah,
she can just say, I'm Kaylee with the dolphins, and we'll reach back to her and we'll get in touch with her.
exactly. And you'll know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give her a free reading because I'm just so curious to see what the
Oh,
connection is.
thank you.
Yeah, she deserves it.
How does it work when somebody said, some of this is new territory for people that
Hmm.
they've never had a psychic read them, um, don't even know what to do, how to prepare, how to think, and even virtually, that's a whole other layer that takes place there. Um, we're doing a virtual here
Hmm.
in terms of seeing each other through a Zoom. You can do it with a phone call too, right?
I can. I prefer to do it by Zoom because they get a copy of the recording for free.
Okay.
Um, but I can do it by phone. I've done it by text. I've done it by text when somebody's texted me about a friend, and I've ended up reading the person that they're texting, and they're texting that person. So I've done it like by three-way text, which is really weird.
Wow.
Um, but I I I prefer to do it face to face by Zoom, and it is it is so easy to read people. I tell them I prefer, I don't see anything bad. So it's easy once they hear that. Usually, most people are much more relaxed and ready to be read because if they know I'm not going to see anything terrible, then there's nothing to fear. I don't read your mind. I don't see anything bad. It's like we're sitting in the woods and there's just, we're sitting in a clearing, and it's as if there's a little fire between us. So I can see you, you can see me, and we can't see anything around us. And so I always tell people it's like playing red light, green light. I can hear the people around us shuffling around once I've, asked my dad, I call him my lobby man, who kind of opens the door. And I'll usually ask a couple of questions that are mostly yes or no. And so within 2 or 3, usually I can see the other person. They step close enough to the fire, and then I can describe them, verify that this is who we're talking about, and then we're off to the races.
Final question here. Do your loved ones give you information for others as well? Like, for example, let's say you had a loved one pass away in your life. Have they said, "Oh, you're talking to Kaylee. By the way, I want you to, you should know this." Have they helped you in that way?
The way that it's worked for me is kind of the reverse. I've had it where, in this case, I believe that it was Kaylee's dad that gave me information, but I've had other, like, say it was your mom, she would pull information from my lifetime or my loved ones and show me something that I would understand from my loved ones. And I always get a kick out of that, because that's something that's new, that's been happening in probably the last 3 or 4 months, that I'll see something that it's a complex set of circumstances, but they'll show me something from me and my grandfather that we experienced.
Okay.
And because I see it, I now understand it. And I now understand what I'm supposed to say to the person without having to play 50 questions to get there. And
Totally
it
got it.
always makes me laugh. I'm like, how do they know this? I'm like, well, they must be talking to my grandfather or something. I don't understand it, but it makes me laugh.
They make it relatable to you based on a situation that you would understand, so you can relate it to them. Wow, that's cool.
It's totally weird.
It's weirdly cool.
Yes.
Shannon, how do we find you? Somebody wants to connect with you. It's not the website, social media best way, or what?
Yes. We've decided the easiest way is on Facebook or Instagram at Shannon Dee Sees Things, or they can always contact Jen, my awesome cousin, at 215-680-7693. You can text or give her a call. We love to have people show up on Facebook. Just pop in, you can drop comments, and we love when people join in on all the fun.
Always great talking with you. Love your energy, and the it's like when you do a reading, you feel something good. When I talk with you, I feel something good.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
You are.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Talk soon.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.